Hello and welcome to the Codec Moments Podcast. Today we're here to talk about more next generation stuff. We had a little bit of speculation last time, and now we've got some facts. So let's spin a twisted narrative of deceit and lies and make up some more nonsense for you all to believe. Joining me today, Dr. Matthew Holt.
Hello.
Hello, and Ali Cornwall.
Hello.
And I'm Andy Brown, and this is the Codec Moments Podcast PS5 Reveal Special. Yay! I was expecting a boo from you, if I'm honest.
Nah, I like all consoles.
Got to really play to the whole fanboy thing. Come on.
Sorry, boo.
Because, to be honest, in the name of balance, we need somebody to come in strong on Xbox just to counteract Matthew.
Oh, I'll come in strong on it anyway. I was for the Xbox One when it was had the digital media rights. I still pre-ordered it.
The PS5 reveal was delayed until the 11th of June, my birthday. Thanks, Sony. And well, what do you think? I'm going to go to Matt first because let's get all his enthusiastic. I'm going to go with exuberance out of the way. Yeah,
let's just clarify one part of the big reveal. There were two of us watching it live. So me and Alan.
Yeah. I was having a lovely birthday meal with my wife watching a movie.
I think we sent a message out that we were both watching the static screen waiting for it to start, and you very quickly said, "Oh, keep me updated." And you must have spent more time messaging than eating or watching a film. Because you just were more active than we were.
I was surreptitious.
Ooh. What's happening now?
We did get you at one point with the fake Splinter Cell reveal, but anyway.
Yeah, I know, but the part was that you got me with the fake Splinter Cell reveal, and then you went, "Oh yeah, Hitman 3." Shut up.
Surprise!
You bloody liars.
So what do we think to it? I thought it was a nice little show, pre-recorded, all set up in advance. Understood why they delayed it, and it was just a nice way of filling an hour and showing off the games. Started off a bit odd. Well, they showed GTA 5, didn't they? And
was it a montage of kind of famous games from the PlayStation back catalogue?
Kick off with intro, and that's fair enough. And you sort of expect that build. And then it went into GTA 5. And for like 3 seconds, my brain went, "Oh, GTA 6? It's far too early for that." And then it just basically said, "Oh yeah, GTA 5 is going to be on it as well." So, yeah.
The one thing that got me with that is it's not the best way I would kick off. I would have kicked off with Spider-Man, Gran Turismo, something like that. I'd come out of the blocks.
Yeah, I mean,
hard.
I can kind of. I think Spider-Man would have been more appropriate for the current generation of PS4 players. Gran Turismo would have been an awesome shout for anybody over the age of 30 who's got a PlayStation. And I can kind of see why they didn't lead with Spider-Man, though, if it's not a full release, because they're now comparing it to the Uncharted, what was the...
Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy,
yeah.
So yeah, they started with GTA 5. They said it's coming and existing players will be able to play online for free when it launches, which is, not having to subscribe to PS Plus at that point is good. What they didn't say in the show, and we found out since that point, is it's not launching until 2021 anyway. So it's going to be quite a way before it actually comes out.
Even weirder choice.
Yeah, so really odd. Did throw us.
No, I was just going to say the other thing on that is the fact that they didn't. It wasn't even a reworked trailer.
No.
It was, as far as I'm aware, the same launch trailer from when it launched way back when. It might be the PS4 launch, but it wasn't even, "Oh, it's coming, it's being upscaled, you all love it that much, we're bringing it to another console." It was just, "Oh, this is coming," and it was just the same trailer, and everyone's like, "What?"
So maybe I suppose in terms of player base, it's been consistently a heavy hitter, hasn't it, over the years? I mean,
it has.
So they're saying it's enhanced and expanded. Do we know how?
No.
No.
No. There was something that kind of hinted at it was going to be sort of the most detailed world you could possibly imagine from a GTA game. I don't know if that means they're going to bring in some of the Red Dead 2 tech to support it, but yeah, we'll see what they do. And it hit with that.
Horses taking a dump in the middle of.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I presume you're going to have to buy it again, aren't you?
I'd have thought so. Yeah.
Because if that's the case, that will be for me, 4th time I'd have purchased that game.
It'd be my
fifth.
Yeah.
Fifth even.
It'd be my never. I've never bought it.
You know, in the post console launch lull, we all will as well, won't we? You know, we will. Yeah, shocking but true. It's the expanded bit that interests me. I mean, I'm guessing if I'm honest, it's probably just reference to GTA Online and stuff they might do with that. But wouldn't it be nice if they finally threw some like single player DLC in there?
It would be quite nice. And in fairness, they stuck quite a bit in the revamp version for the current generation. They put in extra missions, didn't they? They put in secret stuff. They did the first person. So yeah, they're going to do something biggish with it. But to start the show, maybe it was that point. It's just to set everybody's expectations and make them think, oh, this isn't what we expected. But then went straight into, was it GT7?
No, Spider-Man.
Was it Spider-Man next? I forget what order it was in.
Yeah. Spider-Man
looks nice. Will be very good. Yes, they have come out since then and said it's a bit Lost Legacy, but then there's some form with this. They did it with, was it First Light it was called? That was the standalone for Second Son, the Infamous game. They did Festival of Blood with Infamous a while back as well. So it's not too surprising. And it makes you think it's probably a quick game to get out there. Lost Legacy was decent. I think, was it 6 or 8 hours in total? It was a good playthrough.
Yeah, it wasn't the longest.
Well, I mean, they've not long been onboarded as a kind of first party studio, have they? So it's to expect them to put a full game out the size of Spider-Man on next gen. It would be a bit of a push.
Well, it's Spider-Man 2, isn't it? That they'll be working on in the background.
Yeah.
So nice to see. Not any gameplay of it, though. It was just a cutscene, wasn't it? Revealing Miles
Morales.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Which is good. It'll be great. It will. But
haven't they already shown footage of the current Spider-Man running on a PS5, though, with like how quickly it loads and it looks better? So I presume, I don't know whether that's going to come across, but if it is basically that game maybe changed a little bit and built upon, then they've kind of already, like, it'd be a fairly quick win and it'll look a little bit better than the current Spider-Man.
As long as there's plenty of puddles, it'll be fine.
Do you know what I mean?
And I expect it'll be PS4 as well. I don't think it will solely be PS5 on that one. But yeah, that's coming out. Interestingly, when they've clarified over the sort of scale of it, they've given it a release window. They haven't actually said it's coming at the same time as the console. They just said it'll release before holiday. Now, whether that's just to tie in the vague marketing message for console release, or whether it genuinely will be a couple of weeks afterwards.
Maybe that's to continue throwing people off the scent and speculation of launch dates.
Possibly.
And then GT7.
Well, yeah, GT7 popped up, and we told you that, and you asked something like, "Is it a full fat one?" Just as they were showing like GT Town.
I know. I've been watching that video, and the GT Town thing. I made a noise, and it went something like squee. So yeah. It's what I wanted. It's what I wanted on this generation was a proper, fully fledged Gran Turismo game, because Sport was a lovely racing game. Looked beautiful, but it just wasn't a proper Gran Turismo game. It was Prologue. Absolutely just Prologue.
When did we get a last proper Gran Turismo game? Was it 5?
Was it 6?
Well, I had 6.
Because 6 hit PS3 right at the end of the generation. Yeah, pretty much no one bought it, didn't they?
I think I was the only one. No, it was good, but I don't remember that Gran Turismo mode, right from the original where you're buying cars and you're buying the parts. It could well have been in there, and I just didn't put the time into it because I moved on.
No. But I think that's what it's all about. If like even Forza or something pulled that out, everyone would be like, "What are you doing?" Like I like the fact that sometimes you have the cars where you you just buy it and it's a Le Mans car spec.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah.
Jobs are good. But there's nothing like taking your Mazda Demio or whatever it is around some shonking things with the kids still in the back until you get enough money to get a proper car.
That was absolutely the fun of the kind of GTA and GTA, GT, GT2, all through that was when you bought your first second-hand car.
Yeah.
And you very slowly built it up to something that was track worthy and would start winning you events.
Yeah.
That was it. That was what absolutely made that game.
Yeah,
and the ridiculous things where you can wash them and change the oil and
logging in every day in GTA 5 just to get a different bloody shade of paint.
Yes. Daily login bonus. Yeah.
Birthday cars.
Yes, the silly things like that.
Oh, yeah. How I miss a proper GT game. I really hope they've gone back to their roots.
Yeah. We got a bit of in-game footage, we got a bit of racing. Looks Gran Turismo. There were no surprises there. It's going to be very pretty. And then it moved swiftly on, didn't it? To one that I think confused everybody who hasn't played much of the series, but then it moved on to Ratchet and Clank, which was a proper reveal because I don't think anybody knew a new game was in the works.
No, that seems to be a bit of a theme for the night, really.
There's a few in there. Where you're going, I didn't know about that.
Well, even GT7, you're like, well, to be honest, they might have announced it years ago, and in true GT fashion,
So I suppose
it's probably a PS4 launch title.
Yeah. It started with a cross-gen transfer, or a double cross-gen transfer with GTA, but then GT7, Spider-Man, then Ratchet and Clank, all PlayStation staples now. I'm going to be on the new console, but the key piece with Ratchet and Clank was just how stunning it looked, and it felt with the trailer, which was supposed to be running in real time anyway, plus the gameplay demo. It just started to show what we are going to get with the next generation and with the power that comes with the new console.
And it's games that are at launch as well. So obviously once they've had a couple of years and really managed to delve into getting as much out of the console as they can and things, like the ray tracing on that game and just the amount of, was it like debris from killing those
the amount of particles and that.
And it was the warping element, that whole sequence it started off with is the warping between different dimensions or different planets, and it being instantaneous and that being reflective of the game. That isn't pre-rendered. Apparently, that's what the type of thing it does. And you were seeing it in the gameplay as well as it was warping around. There's just no loading, no having to bring a load of new assets in and make things struggle. It was just seamless. And it just looked amazing. But those games have always been playable. They've always been a lot of fun. And
I when I got my PS4, I was a little bit later to see the game because my wife would kill me if I spent £1,000 on two consoles on just before Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And it came with the Ratchet and Clank game, whichever one it is that's on the PS4, and I really enjoyed it. It was the first one I've played, I think, that I can remember.
Yeah, I think it was.
And
I can't remember if it was like the reboot one, but my other half was in the room at the point just before that came on, and she's a massive Ratchet and Clank fan. And we got 30 seconds into it, and the ears popped up, and she just went, "Yeah, you can buy one."
Not that I asked. Thanks.
Don't need the permission, but it's good to know you're not going to complain when it turns up.
Don't check the date on that pre-order confirmation.
So then I think it got through some big hitters to begin with, and then it sort of started widening the scope a bit and deciding to show us who they're working with, and I think it went on quite a bit of an indie sort of direction, didn't it?
It struck me that it was kind of speaking to the breadth and diversity of releases that are coming up, actually, and just to say, this isn't going to be a one-trick pony at launch. There is going to be some interesting stuff in the release window.
I've found really interesting, is it Annapurna?
I love their stuff.
Yeah, but they've got 3, or they had 3 in that showcase alone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was any other publisher who had as many, apart from Sony Studios themselves. I think had about 7. And they started off with, Stray, which looked absolutely amazing, going through the the almost a robot-infested world. I thought they'd been watching Netflix's Love, Death and Robots because they just reminded me of one of the episodes of that. And then it pops up at the end that you're basically going to play as a cat in this world, which just tied it back in. I thought they have been watching that Netflix program.
The hologram cat.
Yeah, that looked gorgeous. No idea what it's about, but sold. And then, it kind of went on that route, didn't it? There were a lot of what in the past would have probably called left field, but it's the type of stuff we're used to now. They're just game releases, but a big, diverse mix of styles, genres, and appeal.
Some of it was random, like that Bug Snacks.
Now, Bug Snacks, I thought looked really interesting. Was that wasn't like the hurdy-gurdy type one, was it? Where you had to round things up. Was that another one?
No, this was the one where the fruit was alive.
Oh, it was
like an Animal Crossing kind of thing. And Andy was like, "Yeah, I'm sold."
Was it the Octodad developers?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah,
I thought that looked quite interesting.
Yeah, but it was just weird. It's like I'm not too sure what I've just watched there, but yeah, cool.
I've just got it. Yeah, I'm just having a look now again, and it's the Walking Strawberry, isn't it?
Yes,
it looked completely nuts, and then the way it finished the trailer as well, it just seemed to get even weirder. Yeah, superb to chuck in that kind of stuff, because I think there were bits that showed to be aimed at not at kids but at a family. Then you had your adult pieces, and then your super high budget and your low budget to show the support that they're going to offer. Yeah, you said it, Andy. It didn't feel like you were going to be stuck for choice in the first, I'm going to say year, because by no means are all of these launch titles. In fact, I think about half of them already come out and said they're not.
And the other thing that I think I mentioned in our chat as well is that there were several of the games that between us we all went, yep. Of the ones that are to use with the new controller to show it off and how it moves. Like, obviously we're getting a new Little Big Planet.
Yeah, the Sackboy one.
Sackboy.
Yeah, Sackboy.
And there was a couple of other ones I can't remember off the top of my head now, but where you were like, they're definitely showing off.
Yeah,
that new controller can do.
Yeah, Astro's Playroom, that'll be a huge showcase of what that does.
Yeah,
Ratchet and Clank probably will as well. I'd almost expect all the first-party studios will employ some of the new features, if not all of them.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. I've mentioned it. I'm sort of going back slightly because I said that hurdy-gurdy thing. Which one was that where you were rounding up creatures? Was it Project Athia? Because I know it was quite early on in the showcase.
I cannot remember.
It was really odd, but it just made me think, oh yeah, I remember that game back from the PS2. And it's not that, because it then went out and branched out into quite a few different bits, but it just made me think, nobody's done a sheepdog trial game for a long while. Maybe that's next gen.
And his dog.
We've needed this generation of consoles to get the power to be a sheepdog.
Project Athia, from what I remember, was the Square Enix platformer kind of thing, and then you had a couple of horror kind of games.
Oh yeah, they were the ones that you weren't too keen on.
Because there's that. Is it Returnal or something like that? Was that the horror-y?
There was the Tokyo.
What was? And then the Tokyo Ghostwire.
Yep.
And then I think there was another one or something. Resident Evil, obviously.
Okay. Village.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Village. Yeah. Again, an Animal Crossing crossover that I was hoping for.
That opening, was it the opening 30 seconds of that? We were just pinging each other saying, it's the Resident Evil 4 remake, because it just feels like it. And then it got into the story bits and we all went, what?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
That was another thing that was incredibly believable when you weren't watching it, because Resident Evil 4 has been on every other platform.
Yes.
Why wouldn't it be a PS5 launch title?
And then obviously we've got Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, I mean, they saved that one till near the end, didn't they? That was, I think that was kind of expected, because it's been mooted for quite a while that there was the sequel in development, but that looks like it's taking it in a slightly different direction. And it was a great, first outing was a great game. Looking forward to that.
I need to finish it, to be fair.
It's worth it. It's worth the payoff in the end with that one.
Deathloop looks great.
Yes. Yeah.
So that and the Ghostwire Tokyo ones are the two Bethesda titles, aren't they? And Deathloop definitely. I'm not sure about the other one, but are timed exclusive on the PS4.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if it's 6 months or a year, but I think that came out afterwards. I think it came out the day after. So yeah, Deathloop will be an exclusive for a short while.
And the one I really like the look of is Destruction All Stars.
Was that the kind of Overwatch with...
It's like a cross between Monday Night Combat and Rocket League.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you were being sarcastic there or not.
No, I think it looks fun. I think it looks actually really good fun. Miser.
You're not getting a response from either of us. It's not just me. That looked like it will be a launch title, and you will have no choice but to buy it because there'll be nothing else.
It'll be the bundle.
Yes, it probably will be. Yeah.
Out of all of the PS studios, which had a reworked logo, kind of.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
From what I could gather. Which one do you think it will be a launch title, or which ones?
Well, we know Spider-Man is launch window.
Yeah.
So it'd be before Christmas.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's finished already, near enough. Yeah, so no, I was just going to say, I think some of it depends on the current situation. I think some of these games may have been released, blah, blah, blah. And I think, like with Spider-Man, they may have said launch window, purely because can we get it finished in time, social distancing and all that.
The number of PS5 tech demos that have shown Spider-Man in them makes me think they've been working on it quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the first people to get a dev kit. Yeah.
Astra's Playroom will be. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like the Playroom that was bundled for free on the PS4 in the first place. So I suspect that'll be day one. It's hard to say on a number of them. Obviously, a lot will be because it's not going to launch without games.
This might be an easy question for you then. When do you think Gran Turismo is going to launch?
Well, I put in that thread, didn't I?
PS6.
2025, I'm putting my money on. God knows, I will be, if that's within the first year, I will be amazed, but also very thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I remember rightly, was GT5, it was advertised heavily before the PS3 release. Then we got Prologue, and didn't that tie us over for 2.5 or 3 years?
Oh, it was such a bait and switch.
Yeah. So I think it will be quite a while before we get that, disappointingly. But yeah, there was an interesting ones. Then stuff that I thought would be more third-party fodder, and maybe it's back to the timed exclusive, but Oddworld Soulstorm. Because we know that's been in development for ages, and it looked fantastic. Yeah. And that'll be a PS4 crossover as well. But yeah, I was very surprised that came under the sole PlayStation banner. Is
that literally just for PlayStation? It's not. Is it timed exclusive?
They haven't said, but I'm going to guess they probably are. I would suggest it probably is going to be. And that's why it was in this. Well, not necessarily fully the reason it was in this showcase, because there's one we've not talked about yet, which we know definitely will be cross-platform at launch.
Yeah, and obviously Res will be.
Yeah, that will be. But yeah,
so it might just be one of those games. You know, they've thrown a few in where they've. I don't know how it works. We've got this game that we want to put on your new console. Who wants to show it off in their thing? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how it works. Obviously, in these meetings or whatever they have. But
it isn't massively clear, is it? But there was one piece towards the end, wasn't it, where they did that almost the developer showcase. And they brought all the windows, didn't they? It's almost like a massive Zoom meeting of all the developers that are working directly with PlayStation, whether it's cross-platform or cross-gen titles. There was an awful lot there, and there were a lot of big studios, and there were a lot of small studios. So kind of offering you up that we're working with everybody vibe to make sure that there is content here for a good few years and right the way through its cycle.
Yeah, there's about 40 or 50 developers, weren't there, in that?
Yeah. It was promising. It was I think it was a nice way to sort of almost close out, because it wasn't the final thing, but it did sort of round it up at the end, didn't it? And go, look at what we've got on board.
I just wish that from either side there'd just be a little bit more clarity as to, You know, because it could, obviously you don't want to wait up until, you know, cut-off time when pre-orders go up. It'd be nice if they were just a little bit more clear up front to say it's a timed exclusive. You don't have to reveal the time, or, you know, if it's just a PS exclusive, that's all they kind of have to say. Launch exclusive, you know, or whatever. Just so at least you can then start, because some people it might be quite a toss up between the two.
Yeah,
and they might only ever be able to afford one of them. So if there's if Abe's is only on that next console, like a PS5 or PS4, you know, if it's a bit of a crossover one, then they need to just be a little bit more clear with it rather than playing silly buggers. And everyone's guilty of that.
To be fair, they've normally been pretty transparent about that, because with the whole only on PlayStation positioning that they've had. So I would be surprised if we don't see that in the next couple of months. I think we'll get a release date first.
Do you think some of it is because this was basically what was going to be their kind of E3, although they weren't going to be at E3 reveal? And then do you think it would be, as E3 ticks along, that's when you'd go to Oddworld guys and they'd sit down with them and show you a little bit more, and you'd get those aftermath interviews as the show's going on, don't you?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we've not got that this year.
No, I think you're right with that. That's why it'd have been.
Yeah.
I suspect as well the original planned date was to take the wind out of the sails of actual E3, whilst at the same time to allow the developers to start talking about the console.
Yeah.
Had it all gone ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Because having it a week before is a little bit of a kick in the balls, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh,
at least it wasn't in a church this time.
So yeah, lots of titles on there, lots of good stuff to look forward to. But I think there was one that was a genuine surprise, arguably the one we're actually most excited about, whatever platform we buy it on.
Goodbye, Volcano High.
Yes. I was just blown away by that.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Hitman 3?
Yeah, you were a bit giddy.
Yeah.
I might pick it up.
Hell yeah.
I might pick it up on one platform.
The thing is you're going to have to go through, by the sounds of it, and do all of it all over again, potentially.
I do hope they carry over your progress this time, and it's I think it's one thing they've kind of said is that the world of Assassination in future, you won't have to unlock everything all over again. I'm sure they've said that. But that would, oh God, that would be so infuriating, and yet I would do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure in that video if they said that this is, the world of Assassination is a trilogy of games.
It is, yeah.
So technically, the world of Assassination after 3 is done.
Yeah.
So even 4, 5, 6, whatever we get next, if there is,
we'll have to unlock it all over again. Then
But hopefully we can at least get some save pulled over this time. It's nice to go through them again, but do you really want to do Paris more?
True. No, I think it was a fantastic surprise to see that it is definitely coming. It's coming so soon. Because it's January, isn't it?
I think the issue between 1 and 2 is because the kind of the split from Square Enix, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's why they couldn't carry stuff over. Oh, God, I'm so excited about this, and it looks so good.
So you're saying the split from Square Enix, but you're also, this one, it's split from Warner Brothers, because they're self-publishing this one.
Oh, they?
Yeah, to be fair, Warner Brothers just stepped in to help them, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. So hopefully it's less friction for them with this time around. But yeah, it's definitely, obviously, next gen. It'll be current gen, we believe, as well. So you should have no issues picking it up or wherever you are. But it just looked phenomenal with the level that they showed in Dubai.
Oh, that looks so good. Climbing up the outside of the Burj Khalifa in... It's essentially a high altitude suit.
Yeah. It did give me some, I can't speak tonight. It did give me some kind of almost Mission Impossible vibes. You know, because it kind of, the storyline that's going along with it is if you've kind of, you have gone rogue, you're no longer with the company, but you're going after people and stuff. And
I think I said this on the night in the text chat, but it gave me, or maybe it was the day after when I watched the video, but it gave me Absolution vibes. But Absolution done the right way.
Yeah, you said it day after. Yeah,
with the big open plan levels, the ability to plan the trial and error. had, we've always said this, Absolution was a good game. It just wasn't a good Hitman game, except for a couple of standout levels where you got to play it like you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind there being a bit more hunted mechanic if you could approach the levels in the way you do a traditional classic Hitman game. You know what I mean?
It'll be interesting if they have got that hunted element, that because he's gone rogue or is left the agency. What if people are trying to find him as well as you trying to find his target, and it gets all a bit messy, and hopefully it's going to be amazing.
Got a lot of potential. We know it'll be good anyway. The building on the back of the last two, can't see them taking any backward steps and massively changing the formula. It's just going to be the story and maybe additional mechanics.
I mean, they tried that with Absolution at the insistence of Square Enix, and it didn't work. Yeah. So I don't see them doing, breaking the mold.
I know. I don't think. I think they're just going to deliver bigger and better levels again. They're just going to look stunning and play really well. And I am so surprised. We're from right now recording this for 6 months away.
I was stunned when you said there was a Hitman 3, like, genuinely, because you'd already taken the piss out of me for Splinter Cell. I thought you were mocking me again.
Yeah, we would never mock over Hitman.
Again, it's completely come out of left field, hasn't it?
It has. Yeah. It has. I mean, in fairness, I think we've known they've been working on it. It's just we weren't expecting it to pop up there. So,
And it just gives us an excuse to talk about Hitman more. Yeah. Because we did say in the chat as well that we'd just take over the chat with it.
I mean, I think we've been quite refrained to get 30 minutes into the recording before we've started gushing about it.
I think you might have mentioned the title within about 4 minutes, but, we held off.
Yeah, so we fixed that in the edit.
So lots of cracking games, lots of good stuff to look at. And then and this one is purely a question for Ali, because obviously you won't be able to necessarily pitch in because you weren't watching it live, but it did start to feel a little bit exciting when it all finished, but the presentation didn't, because we thought, okay, we're getting something we weren't expecting.
Yes, yeah, because it was literally the last game they showed, wasn't it? Neareds, damn it.
I think there were a few other last games. There was that one where they showed a CG sequence of the person, and was it like a holographic child ended up on the moon that's like 3 years away from release. But then it kind of all ended, but it kept going, and you were thinking, well, what are they going to show? Because they've been teasing with those fancy graphics all the way through, various bits and pieces, logos, stuff like that. And then we got the actual console reveal, which I don't think anybody was really expecting.
Yeah.
And it was done, I thought, in quite a nice way, at like a proper PR reveal, rather than just a few photos and a static image.
And I guess you could imagine, as that's going through, if it was on a stage, that obviously it'd come up through the floor or something, and that kind of stuff.
And it was, it was a big surprise. It was a really big surprise that they've gone for that design, that it breaks what they've done over the last few generations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They've gone something completely different, and basically the meme world has just gone mad.
Yeah.
It will. I mean, it does look like a router, though. I mean, there's no denying it.
Well, only if you've had a router like that.
It's different. It's different, and it's pretty and everything, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on it, if I'm honest.
And it's white as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything else in my cabinet's black.
You see, that is the only thing that does look a bit odd, because I have seen a couple of rumours that there might be different colourways available, but they are rumours. They aren't confirmed.
I mean, that's probably a given down the line, maybe.
I wonder if they're going to sell panels for it or something. You just don't know, do you?
No idea. I mean, they did with the PS4, didn't they? Originally, you could buy replaceable panels.
I'll be honest. I've seen pictures of it horizontally, and I have to say, it looks a lot nice. Especially the optical version looks a lot nicer horizontally, because it kind of, the optical version just looks a little bit unbalanced when it's stood upright. Not out of balance.
No, I know what you mean. It's the bulge.
the nice symmetrical aesthetic. It's just
yeah.
It
is. It does look.
I'm not sold on it.
Odd.
Yeah.
But you know what? I applaud them for doing something a bit different.
You can't. You can't deny that. I love the controller. The DualShock 5 looks.
The DualSense. The DualSense.
Oh, the DualSense. Yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna be calling it that for months.
The controller looks good.
Like the iWatch.
They announced the HD camera. Obviously, a few more accessories. I suppose even bigger surprise, the digital only version, which everybody
I don't think it was a massive.
Yeah, but I think
massive surprise.
Kind of forgot about that side of it, really. And we're just sort of expecting, especially since they showcased just the disc version to begin with. So,
I'll be honest. I would be tempted by a digital only version if I didn't have a drawer full of PS4 games I still haven't fully played.
Yeah, and from our point of view, as in, if you want to call us press or not, we get a lot of physical discs as well as codes. Sometimes you only get discs because it's easier for them to send them out or whatever. So if you did get a digital only, you could be cutting your nose off to spite your face.
It's not so much anymore. The amount of
they are more digital codes now than they are discs.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's nice that they're taking what they've seen the competition do, and they've obviously reading their own sales and understanding that they can do it, and they're going for that and offering the choice up, which is fair enough. I think the people out there who might be looking for an HD Blu-ray player or a UHD Blu-ray player alongside their new console will probably go for that. I'm probably going to go for a disc version because I still trade stuff in and sort of recycle games quite a bit that way, and you can't do that with digital versions. They're obviously split nicely, that they know it's viable for them to do it, and there's plenty of uptake for it. I mean, you said for a long time, Andy, that you're only buying things online. When was the last disc you bought?
Yeah, pretty much. And the only time I'll ever buy a disc, like when I bought Hitman 2 again for my Xbox, it was actually ludicrous. It was 60 quid for the base game, I think, on the Xbox store, Hitman 2, and then it was like another 50 quid to get the upgrade, but to basically buy Hitman to get the legacy levels. So I managed to buy them both for about 30 quid.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That's the thing. If you did get a digital only, you have to wait for said sale.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, because like some games, like your Grand Theft Autos, a lot of your first party ones, like Days Gone and things like that, you have to wait a long time for those to come down in offer. The chances of you picking it up for £20-30 maybe second hand or in a physical sale is quite high. However, what happens with these shops under the current situation,
it's a good split. It's a good way to approach it. You take I'm just thinking, you take most recent release for us at the moment, probably talk about Last of Us Part 2. What is it on the PSN? Is it 60 quid for the standard version?
Probably, yeah. I think Ghost of Tsushima, when that comes out, it's the same.
But it was under 45 to buy physically.
Yeah.
There's a £15 difference, particularly with actually, you're probably not going to see it on launch on either console, actually, where the you'll get cheaper versions on disc. Retailers will milk it for a while they can. But yeah, you do hit a disparity at some point, and like you say, sales tend to come faster on the physical than the digital, or you're having to wait for a specific window if you don't want to pay the full price. And they do tend to be so expensive online to begin with. But then you do pick up some great bargains. When I picked up the Just Cause 4 full-on pack, absolutely everything, for like less than 15 quid. And it's not that old a game, whereas I don't think you can even find the base game for less than 15 out in a shop somewhere. Yeah. So,
and I think the fact that it's got it has to have the 4K Blu-ray player in it, or the 4K player. And the fact that that's in it as well may sway a lot of people, because it's like, well, I've got the 4K TV, I haven't got the Blu-ray player if you haven't got an Xbox One or a standalone.
And
so,
and you're looking
but then so many services now offer 4K digitally.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
No.
But it's not the same to you guys, but you're massively into films. My assumption would be that for the average consumer, as far as they're concerned, it probably is.
Yeah. The only other thing is as well is, this is just me probably speaking to Kev too much, is that nobody can take my disc away from me unless someone comes and robs my house.
That is a good argument. But then again, for the average consumer, they probably won't notice that. Yeah. But this is a completely different debate. We are somewhat going off on a tangent, and it's not a thread I particularly want to pull tonight.
So yeah, we got the reveal. We got no other information after that. It was just nice to see that it does actually have a form, which it's not just ether.
If only we had an idea of how much it was going to cost or the day it was going to come out on, even if it was pure speculation.
From Amazon France, rather specifically. So they gaffed apparently this week, but again, nobody knows if it's true or if it's a mock-up or what. But they put up a pre-order page and quoted prices and a release date.
I mean, it's interesting, but I do have this theory that Amazon kind of deliberately do this shit around about E3 time, because didn't we have the Amazon Canada page last year that announced the new Splinter Cell game?
There's been releases like Amazon Korea or somewhere that have the Modern Warfare 2 remaster a year ago. All the stuff that's it could be fake, it could be genuine. But
do you know, for such a reputable company, it just seems a bit too common for it to be one person's mistake or a person's mistake. It's almost as if, let's pay you some money, and it's a very clever marketing ploy to see how much speculation and online stuff goes crazy. Yeah, and then I don't know.
That's an interesting theory.
I deal with them and selling things, and it'd be quite easy to make that mistake.
What, like all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
it was.
So based on that, it was what, 21st of
November? 20th of November they quoted.
20th, sorry.
With €499 for the physical version and €399 for the digital. So assumption is, if that is correct on the pricing, it'd be $400 and $500. And as always, we'll get over in the UK and we'll be £400 and £500 because exchange rates mean nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Because it should be like $350 and $450 if you.
Yeah.
It seems a big jump just to have a drive. Because for £100, maybe $150, you could get yourself a decent standalone Blu-ray player, which potentially could be better.
Well, find it. It's one of those things. Go find yourself a Sony UHD Blu-ray player for £100.
Well, they're all Sony, aren't they?
Look at it the other way around, though, Ellie. I think look at it the other way around. For people who've got a back catalogue of PS4 games on disc, they'll happily pay the premium. For everybody else, the thought of getting £100 off might be enough to persuade them to be locked into the ecosystem.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's
says the cynical.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely going to get that price difference between a disc and a discless version. It's whether these prices are accurate, because if it hits that £500 mark, that's a touch higher than all of our estimates were on where it would be. And we've already had a few conversations about, well, actually, if it was that, but it had a bundle with it as well of some description, even if it was just a game, then maybe it's quite reasonable.
I think I seem to remember a late night discussion where the pair of us had basically said, if it's more than 500, that's the point at which I'm going to go, ooh.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
If you've got to throw in, I mean, I'm personally not that bothered at the minute. Leanne doesn't play that many games, so I'm not bothered about an extra joypad. It would be the game or games you get with it. And for me personally, because sometimes my attention span or mood would change, it would have to be games.
Yep.
Just so you've got just a little something to show off the console. Because if you just sat there playing Sackboy forever until you can afford another game,
I suppose the advantage is, though, if you can play your current PS4 games with like no loading times and
true,
that is still an interesting proposition. But
Ali's right.
There's an expensive way of doing it.
There's a price on it, isn't there? I mean, you're automatically adding, if that's just the base price for the machine, there's automatically another £100 just for 2 games.
Easy.
Then if you're looking at any of the accessories as well, this could easily run into 700 or 800 just for launch if you want to get set up straight away.
it'd be interesting to see. This is the other downside to your discless one or your digital only, is if you go out and buy your digital only, you've got to come home, set it up, download an update, because there'll be an update to your console, more or less guaranteed. Then you've got to spend the next 6 hours downloading your effing games.
You'll have to spend 6 hours downloading a patch on the disc.
Actually, these games are going to be massive as well, aren't they?
Yeah. But you can sometimes skip the update, can't you, just to play it?
Sometimes you can, yeah.
Yeah. But so whether the discless one, maybe there's bundles and it comes preloaded.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
The other thing we don't. Well, I don't think we know. But if they're touting the speed of this SSD as being like one of the defining characteristics of, I think the guy from Epic described it as best in class, didn't he? We don't know that it's not going to have to install the entire game onto the disc.
What you mean? It installs as it goes?
The game from the optical disc onto the drive. Mm-hmm. I mean, to take advantage of that, I could see that being a thing. You know, it used to be a thing on the 360. You'd install the game from the disc, couldn't you?
Yeah. And if it's that quick, it might install a lot quicker.
It's what they all do now, isn't it? They all install fully from the disc.
The drive is going to be the rate limiting step, isn't it?
Mm.
But it's what they do now anyway, isn't it? They all install from the disc. You have to have the disc in to play the game, but it's fully installed on your machine. Yeah. So that's kind of no different. It's whether it could install the data at the same time as letting you play the first part, which actually, in fairness, a lot of launch games did anyway. They've phased that out. I've noticed over time that actually a lot of games you have to fully install before you can play them.
Mm. I'll be interested to see, or no, not interested to see, that's a lie. I hope to God they fixed their download speeds. Because sometimes, like the updates, like Andy will say for like Call of Duty and stuff, I don't know what it is with the PlayStation 4 at the minute, but sometimes it just takes forever to download stuff, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
I've not noticed
got rid of that need to have double the amount of disk space available for what you're downloading. Would be the first thing.
Well, give them with an 850 gig drive,
Or hopefully with the other one as well, you download the game and then it doesn't take 3 times as long it just took you to download it to install it. Because sometimes that happens as well.
I see that more often. I don't see much in the way of the patch issues, but I do. Yeah, it's that time to install. Sometimes you're just like, Which, although in fairness, I have everything on background, download and install a lot of the time. So that's probably why I'm not seeing it.
I find that really hit and miss. Maybe it's just my console, but I do find that terribly hit and miss.
Yeah. You're playing because you mentioned that you've seen it on Call of Duty. Well, I uninstalled that a while back when I was freeing up space because of how much room it was taking up when I wasn't playing it. So I haven't seen it on that because I've not played it. So it could well be that
33 gig update.
Well, that might be one of the reasons I decided to take it off.
Wow.
So yeah, whether it's going to come out at the end of November or not, it feels like the right window. It feels like the right price.
Similar to last,
but we just don't.
For this generation.
Yeah, it is. It is similar time frame. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to see if we get bundles. Yeah.
Get a Cyberpunk 2077 bundle at this rate.
I think we will. Well, that's a bit of news this week, isn't it? That the PS5 version, as with the Series X, will be a free upgrade if you've got the original from the PS4 and the Xbox One. That's a good move. That is the first game I think I've heard for PlayStation that's going to do that. And I hope others follow suit. Yeah. I'm wanting to see it from Dirt 5. Because there's a very good chance I'll have Dirt 5 before, because I won't be able to wait until PS5 launch to play that. So I'm hoping quite a few do it.
I've had it with Dirt. Thank you. After your shenanigans on Friday.
You enjoyed it in the end after writing your car off. So I suppose the question for you guys more than me on this one is was there anything there, or did the whole showcase lead you to want to invest at launch?
There was lots there. I mean, for me, I'm undecided as to what I might go for. There's a lot of interesting games there. With Ali, I'd like to know what's first part. I'd like to know what's exclusive and what isn't. And I'd also like to see the first party offerings from Microsoft.
Yeah, they're still to
as well, if I'm honest, in terms of what's coming from them, because I feel their performance, the third party stuff they showed, was pretty lackluster couple of interesting titles, but this blew that out of the water. And that's not speaking as a Sony fanboy. That is genuinely my subjective opinion.
I don't know. The Xbox thing was weird, and it was like it almost felt like a filler because of the situation we were in, but it wasn't kind of. It was marketed wrong, as if it's some like Xbox reveal, but it's just that, and it was. I'll admit it was.
It wasn't great, was it?
No, and this was amazing compared to that, because you're actually seeing, games that they've been developing, all the first party stuff, which is always looks amazing, whatever console you get. And I think they had to release what the console looks like.
Yeah.
Because if not, it'd have took the wind out of a lot of people's sails to go, so we can see everything but the console. We've not got a price and stuff. We'll get there. Probably Gamescom time, maybe.
When's that? When was that due? Because that's been cancelled now, hasn't it?
August.
Yeah, it's August, isn't it?
I would expect it to be before that. I'd expect at some point in the next month to have had a release date and a price to get pre-orders going, because you've got to think about your manufacturing and shipping build up. And I'm just wondering if August might be too late for that.
I would also like to see more of the nitty gritty about what are they doing? What are they changing? What are they making better? What quality of life improvements are they making? Are we gonna start to see, better social media integration, more interesting use of stuff like that? Things like so Twitch. I've been doing a bit more streaming recently. Are you going to actually be able to use them for overlays and stuff like that? More interesting.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be good? Yeah, because I know that the Xbox is doing a bit more with kind of mixer.
Some games though do it as well, don't they? Tomb Raider, the latest one, has a
streaming overlay
mode or something. Yeah. I mean, for me, unless between now and the first party stuff and the price, unless Microsoft severely upset me, that will be will always be my first one, just because I've invested so heavily in that ecosystem and different things. I will end up getting both. I won't be shy about it. I will. It's just what I do. But yeah, the Xbox will always be that one. But it's the other things that come with it for me, which we've spoken about loads of times before, like the Game Pass and things like that. The fact that potentially, this is a potentially, and I'm not sure if they've said it or not, but all of the first party stuff, when they do that stream next month, whenever that is in July, I've already purchased them all because they're on Game Pass.
Right.
So I think they've said all first party titles will go to Game Pass, I think.
Which is like a phenomenal piece of marketing right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
If that's
so that means technically at launch, if there's 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games that are first party, I've got them. Granted, I've got to download it and do all that shenanigans, but
it's there.
Yeah. And I think that's what will sway some people, I think, is how Sony react to Game Pass, because that is a force to be reckoned with.
I honestly, I don't think they are. I think they're going to just allow people to buy when they want to buy and stick with the Plus model. I don't think they're going to change it. Yeah. I honestly don't. I think they're just going to stay with doing what they're doing and see where it goes. And it is arguably the bit that they're missing. Now, it'd be interesting to see what they do for Plus with the PS5 release and what you get each month. Because
I remember the PS4 suffered, didn't it, a little bit?
The month wasn't great, but after that, actually, it really helped its first year because they were putting the indie games on. So you were getting some really interesting titles, like I say, a bit like Lost on the launch ones, but actually after that, you did get some really good ones.
Was Resogun the first?
I think Resogun was on there, and Contrast, I think, were the first 2.
Contrast,
I played and finished Contrast, but it wasn't
the weird French marionette thing is the only way I could describe it.
It wasn't really marionette, was it? But it was like shadow play and
felt like that kind of puppet characters.
Yeah, French theatre.
Like. It's a puppet. No, there's not many people that'll get that.
Really not.
But the thing is like it's funny you mentioned that, Matt, because I think Xbox Live Gold games has suffered because of the Game Pass.
Really?
I don't think you're getting your blockbusters on there like you used to get. Obviously, there's some of the first party stuff, but I think they've dumbed them down a little bit. The offering's been a bit meh, and if it wasn't for the Game Pass side of things, I think people would be kicking off more.
Yeah.
But some of them have just been okay, yeah, some 360 titles and whatnot. But yeah, no, I'll be honest. Like I say, I like all consoles. I just sway more towards the Xbox. It was a good showing and I was actually excited, and I was like, oh, Spider-Man, yes. If it's on the PS4, that helps me even better to split the cost between the two. Yeah. Other games that hopefully will be cross-platform, the ones that will possibly sway it for me, I say it'll sound daft. Definitely Abe's. If that is a exclusive, then I'll be getting it sooner than what I thought. Whenever Gran Turismo comes out, but let's be fair, I've probably got a couple of years to save up for it. Yeah,
you'll be all right with
that one. and I know in the past, Leanne's loved playing the Little Big Planet Sackboy games, although the most recent one was a bit naff, but, it'd be things like that. But
you'll know if you want GT7 because you'll get to play GT7 Prologue first.
I think what you said was you hit it. It made people excited. It got talk about it, and yes, of course they've had the memes. What announcement doesn't get that now, or bits of negative press? That's part for the course.
It's not negative though. Some of the stuff just
it's
absolutely
funny.
made me work myself. Have you seen the bit
funny
with Gordon Ramsay? Where he gets that woman with 2 slices of bread and puts it in the side of her face. What am I? But is someone's photoshopped 2 pieces of paper on her? What am I? I'm a PS5.
The
guy who stuck 2 envelopes up against his router. Like, there we go. Got mine already.
But it's good. It's memes and that, and everyone's having a laugh at their expense, but it's publicity.
It is.
At the end of the day, isn't it?
But it's excitement. I think that's what that brought with it. And if they hadn't have shown the console, the excitement probably wouldn't have been there. As high as it was. I mean, it'd probably still been good, but they brought it up another level. And Microsoft just have to do the same, if not better, in July to keep that level of excitement of the new console. It's a tough one to do, in fairness,
But going back to the PS4 launch, I don't remember the Xbox hype being as big as the PS4 was. Is it that they just don't launch consoles?
No, I think it's your market areas, isn't it? Xbox go bigger in the US. PlayStation go bigger in Europe and Japan. I think there's marketing budgets. I don't think it was that we got any less in the UK than they would usually do. It's just not as big. It's not as big a market for them, is it?
I think they're starting to gradually pick that up, though, aren't they? Xbox with the UK and that, and I guess we'll get more when it gets to
with the advertising. I mean, they've got a bit of a challenge across Europe, haven't they? It's 4-1. Pretty much.
Something like that.
But we've said this in podcasts before, they've been doing the right things with Game Pass and everything else to bring in a user base in advance and to offer a viable thing. It's going to come down, as it always does, it's going to come down to the games. And that's what they have to show in July. They have to have something that competes with this. I think price is going to be on a par for both of them.
Well, I've obviously it's the rumour mill, but there are kind of a lot of rumour mills going around about the fact that the Xbox can make their new one cheap, and apparently a lot of people said that they can undercut the PS5 no matter what price they put it at. But again, I'm seeing it in a lot of different areas. It's not just Reddit.
Here's a hypothetical, Matthew. What price would the Xbox have to be for you to purchase that over the PlayStation 5?
Well, no, that's an easy one. It's not about the price. It's about the games. It's what it will come down to, always. You can sell me an Xbox, you can sell me a Series X for $5, but if it's not got anything I want to play, it's pointless.
Yeah.
So
Matt's not invested in Gears of War and stuff like that.
No, I'm not. I've said before, the only thing I've been interested in recent years has been Forza Horizon 4. We have to go back to a previous generation before you got a game that I was actually interested in. That hasn't come multi-platform at some point. So it's only Splinter Cell Conviction, prior to that. So it comes down to what's on offer. And, if they put a showcase up and there are 30 games on there that I go, I'm going to enjoy them more than anything else, and the console is the same price or cheaper, then it becomes a different decision. But I don't know what they've got to play at the moment. And if it just turns up a Halo and a Forza, it's not going to be enough to sell me. I need to see more.
I think we'll be seeing Forza, Halo, definitely, Fable, maybe a new Rise game, maybe. Son of Rome that they did, and it'll be things like that. And they obviously, was it a year or maybe less ago, a bit more even. They've picked up a hell of a lot of studios. Yeah. So Hellblade, the new one, I think that's
exclusive.
I think it's a launch exclusive. I'm not sure if it's a console exclusive.
I thought it was with them buying the studio, but I don't know. Sure on that. But I didn't play the first one.
Have Obsidian been bought by them? Was that one of them?
They own Ninja Theory. But I'm not sure if at some point they've said, we don't want to restrict people from enjoying these games. Okay. So I think some of even first-party games that, like Hellblade was traditionally everywhere, I think they've said, we won't want to stop people playing these, so we'll put an exclusive on it for a time frame, and then it's going to go everywhere. Yeah. And I think they've said that about a few games, just because they're not fussed to an extent.
And also in the current climate, it's not unless it's going to sell consoles, and like you say, something like that, it's a good game, but it's probably not a console shifter, is it?
No.
So fiscally, it doesn't make sense to restrict it.
Yeah. No. But I think this is what with the COVID that's been going around and the rioting and all that stuff, and I think they were right to delay it, and I think it was just what the gaming community needed. It was, it hit all the right notes, started off a little bit, and then got going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's what they needed. And then obviously EA did their thing, and everyone was just like, "Did you even watch it?"
Well, that was the thing. I knew there was a new Star Wars game coming, which I'm in. I'm sold. I'm buying that.
Have you heard about did you see the thing about it, about the dogfighting and stuff?
I've read bits and pieces. I haven't actually watched anything. I've seen a few screenshots and read it.
So I watched it. It was like an hour long, if that, but it was towards the end. And he's saying you can do some insane stuff when you get that, if you can get that good with the ship. So you can, I think he said you can fly in and shoot someone with your rear gun, do a 180 while reversing, shooting someone else with your rear gun, and then carry on shooting the other guy with your front gun and stuff.
It's just Poe's move at the beginning of The Last Jedi, then? You can do that in the game?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely in, and it's in VR as well.
Yeah, VR and simmy as well, isn't it? It's not particularly arcadey. There might be levels of help.
Yeah.
I just hope I can use my flight stick.
I might have to buy a flight stick if you can.
I can just imagine the Rebel Alliance not getting too far if every time I've got to play, I've got to look to the instructions as to how to prime my engines and make the X-wing split and retract the landing gears.
But in VR, with the mission that they did that came with Battlefront a couple of years ago, to make your X-foil split, you just pressed a button. And it was so cool.
I don't think it will be Elite Dangerous level of
it won't be that
complexity, because it will have to be pick up and play to an extent.
Come on, quick. The Empire, they're attacking. Okay, I'm going to need... How much fuel am I going to need?
Where's the nozzle?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. How many bleeps was that from that R2 unit? What does that mean?
I don't know where the fuel pump is.
Oh, yes.
There.
Yeah, so no, I didn't watch the EA one. There's been quite a lot of stuff. There's been quite a lot of broadcast over the E3 period.
I still feel quite strongly about the decline of EA in that, it's great they're making a new Star Wars game that looks great and simulation-y, but I don't know. It feels like EA should just be taken out to a field and shot, because what they've pretty much come out with this year is we're gonna remaster a load of stuff, and then essentially they've just gone, here's some more Switch ports.
Yeah, it was. And then there's that guy that did. What's the two people in prison?
And what's the other? Oh, yeah, and also some of our games are going to be available on Steam now, so you don't have to download the Origin client. Like, why have you put that in an hour-long press event?
It was the whole thing that was weird as well about The Sims. And they were going on about you can be anybody. Let's be fair, nobody goes to The Sims. You'd go to The Sims to be whoever you want, but also see how long it takes someone to die in a swimming pool. You take the stairs away and stuff like that. And
the Michael Barrymore simulator.
Yeah, but it was just weird that they made the game out, for me, to be more than what it is, and make it more of a talking point and what's trending.
It's just flogging a dead horse, isn't it? I mean, I get it's popular still, but yeah, EA just seems to be floundering.
Yes, and I think their only thing at the minute is Star Wars, and obviously FIFA.
It's like they've kind of gone, oh God, everybody hates us, and we've got these 2 cash cows. What are we going to do?
Make more cash.
Well, they've
let's milk one of them and actually like pay some attention to the one that people are going to get fighty about.
Already upset part of the FIFA community, haven't they? They've said this year's version, the PC version, is going to be exactly the same as the console version.
Yeah, direct port.
And that's really upset the people who play. Not that I was aware anybody even played it on PC. In fairness, I didn't know that. But yeah,
the only thing they're doing is removing all the crowd textures to make it realistic.
Very topical. And some really bad dubbed football match chanting and stuff.
Which actually comes from FIFA, doesn't it?
Oh, does it? I don't know.
Yeah, no, the stuff they're using on TV comes from the game.
Wow.
If it's anything like the English Football League streaming service, you'll be joining 35 minutes into the first half and be lucky if it's anywhere near in sync. Terrible.
Well, were they playing at one of them at half time? Sorry, bad joke.
We'll cut this bit. We've attempted to go football, haven't we? It's not working.
I love that our first attempt at talking football turns into a Justin Timberlake reference.
Oh, well done. I didn't know you'd even get that far, Andy.
He's got all the CDs behind him.
Yeah, he used to dye his hair blonde.
Just once.
Right, so, yeah. So, nobody's giving us anything exciting. That's ultimately what we've got to.
Turn the ship around, Matt. Turn the ship around.
There's nothing exciting going on. Right, okay, that's the end then.
Right, night. See ya.
No, conclusion is good showing. Some really good games to look at. Some really interesting games coming. Some great ones that we want to see, but just didn't know they were coming so soon. And a really interesting looking console. Like it, although that it's definitely different from the last couple of iterations. Just need to know, does it come in different colours?
Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? Let's see what Microsoft bring us with their first party games.
Do you think they'll have the same UI?
No, they teased it, didn't they? Halfway through. And then screenshot hit Twitter as well from one of the PlayStation executives. So they've sort of shown it kind of, but they haven't shown it working. It's just like a single screen tease to, was it the login screen or something? Just looked a little bit Apple-y. No, it didn't even look Apple-y. I tell you what it reminded me of. Either of you ever used ClearScore? The app?
No.
It's like credit checking app.
Yeah.
Free. It's actually pretty good. It looked like that. The login screen just reminded me of that. So it's kind of generic, slick app interface. But that's all they showed. Nothing else. We don't know any of the features of the system. We don't know what else. We know lots about the hardware after the teardowns, but we don't know anything about functions, features, like you said earlier about streaming and everything else. All that's yet to be revealed. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like PS4 launch, some of it's not even working on the day it comes out.
I'd be interested to see if when it is launched and they announce the price, if they're doing something similar to what I think they're doing with the Xbox Series X, is like a monthly like mobile phone contracty kind of thing.
It'd be interesting.
I don't know if that's US only, but I know they have announced that you can do through their website, and something where you can trade in your Xbox One X as well.
They offer that. They've offered that here, haven't they? Because if you remember, they did it around about Christmas time, where if you took it up then, they would guarantee you an upgrade when the new console came out and not charge you additional for it.
Yeah,
I think
that's quite good. I've noticed in the past they've tended to leave it to the games retail specialists, haven't they, to do the trade-ins and things like that. But like you mentioned it earlier, Ali, how many of those will still be around at Christmas?
Well, to be fair, the one they're running in the UK for Xbox is managed by, I think it's Game and Smiths, but it's an official Microsoft program. But all the hard work is done by those two companies and Klarna, I think.
Oh, okay.
The financer.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. There'll be lots of places offering finance deals on them.
Cool.
I just said, head to Bright House if you want to pay over the odds, but they've gone as well, haven't they? So it went fairly recently. So yeah, there might be nowhere
interest-free credit card.
There'll be nowhere on the high street to buy one of these when they come out. Amazon is.
HMV.
Do they even sell consoles? They sell a very limited selection of games.
They went hard into the second-hand market, didn't they? And I don't think that paid off for them.
No, because it's still expensive because it's HMV.
Yeah, so don't expect to see them in there.
Right, well, there you go. I think that wraps it up.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, thanks for joining us today to talk about the lovely new shiny PS5 router. What are we doing next? Are we going to router? Yeah. Are we going to talk about the Xbox thing when they do that? Then?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. It's about 4 weeks away, isn't it? We might be able to get another episode out within 2 months.
For us, yeah.
Yeah. And then after we've done those two, we can talk about all the developments on Stadia.
Cricket.
That won't be a long episode. Has anyone got a punchline?
No, just Stadia. I've noticed a lot more Stadia ads cropping up on YouTube recently. A lot more, and I got an email with some free credit as well, saying, "Have you?" And they keep sending me almost. I think it's every other day. Have you spent your £10 yet? Well, no, because I don't want to play anything on it.
I got one of those the other day. Yeah, it was like, spend the £10 we've given you, and it was genuinely a moment of what £10? What?
Yeah. Didn't even know we were getting it. But no, I haven't spent it because it'll probably mean you want me to spend like 30 quid, and you'll just give me 10 quid off something. So no.
Yeah.
I will leave it there, thank you.
Right, okay. Well, that was good. I enjoyed that, and let's get together and talk about Xbox next time. Matt'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
I will. Be interested. I'm genuinely interested to see what they've got first party wise.
Cool. Me too.
Very restrained.
All right, let us know your thoughts on the PS5 reveal by tweeting at Codec Moments, or you can join us on our Discord server for more chat and interaction. And you can find the link in the little bit of text that accompanies wherever you got this podcast. Hopefully, if Matt puts it there. Right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.